Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well and ready for a little bit of yoga. Now, you might be wondering, Emily, what's all this junk you have around your yoga mat today? Well, today is all about using props in your yoga practice, and you don't have to use expensive or fancy yoga props like the chip foam block or the cork block or whatever. You could have a pillow, and I guarantee that you have a pillow in your house. You could use paper towel rolls as blocks to bring the floor up to you. You could even use tins of tomatoes. So I'm going to use all of these different things and offer other suggestions as well along the way today for different props that you could use in your own practice. So grab something squishy like a pillow or a chip foam block if you have one, or even a folded up blanket. I didn't want to have like everything in my house around here. And then grab something that could be a block. It could even be a stool or a low coffee table or some firmer pillows, right? Paper towel rolls, water bottles, something. And then join me again. So you probably had to pause the video. And then let's lie down. I'm going to bring the pillow behind me to start today, just behind my back and head mostly. Depends on how long your pillow is. If you have a yoga bolster, then that's even better because you can bring it probably along most or the entire length of your spine, or most of it anyway. But just that little bit of extra lift can sometimes feel a little bit comfier here. And our bodies aren't always ready to be lying back on a hard floor. Anyway, for a few breaths, inhale through your nose. And then exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then continue breathing however feels best for you, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. Ideally through the nose, right? It just means that the breath slows down. It's not tickling your throat and drying you out. But I hear you. Some days we're stuffed up, right? So breathe how you need to breathe. And then notice how your breath feels today. Does it feel a little bit restricted or sticky or choppy? If so, you could gently try to lengthen through those choppy parts of the breath, and it can help smooth it out a little bit. Maybe you need to clear your throat like I do. Excuse me. Or maybe your breath feels really smooth and free today. In which case, just acknowledge that for whatever it's worth. How does your breath sound? Maybe you notice the movement of your body with every breath. Or maybe your focus is really tight on just the space between the nostrils or the tip of the nose. And if your mind starts to wander, and it will, then just acknowledge whatever thought you might be having, and then gently bring your focus back to your breath. Last couple moments here. And then if you're up on a pillow, depending on how high it is, you might need to roll to one side first to remove it out from underneath you. Try to move as little as possible though, so that you can come back onto your back for a few breaths just to let the spine neutralize. And then gently bring your knees in toward your chest. Take a little rock from side to side. This might feel quite nice after that. A little bit of spinal extension. Now we're getting a little bit of flexion. And you might draw circles with your thigh bones here in the hip sockets. The thighs could stay together or they could separate. You could use your hands to guide your legs, or you might just use the muscles of your core. All right. And then bend your knees, plant your feet, grab your pillow again, or chip foam block, or whatever it is that you're using. And we're going to slide it underneath the hips. Now, ideally, you don't want it under your low back, but I get it. Sometimes they're quite squishy. You could roll up the pillow if you want a little bit of extra height, but you want your low back to be free from the support. So the pillow should, or block should really be under your pelvis. And then start to draw your knees toward you. Now, this can feel like a really lovely release for the low back. Maybe you stay here. Maybe you reach your legs up to the sky. You get a little bit of hamstrings in there as well. Some of you might start to reach your feet back behind your head. So coming into a supported plow pose. I'm going to stay here. I think this feels the best for my body today. So last couple breaths wherever you need to be, whether you're hugging your knees toward you or have your legs up in the sky. All right, and then shake it out. Keep the pillow where it is. I actually just need to adjust mine, which is funny because I just said keep it where it is. And then let's all reach our legs up to the sky. And then hug your legs toward each other without locking them out. Your toes might touch, they might not. It doesn't really matter, as long as that activation is there of hugging the legs toward each other. And now the lift of the pelvis is going to make it easier to press your low back down. Now, depending on how high of a lift you have, you might not be able to touch the floor with your low back, and that's okay. But you want that activation of the deeper core muscles, right? The transversus abdominis. So keep that activation and then slowly bend the left leg. Maybe bring your left toes to the floor and tap them. And then inhale, come back up, or exhale, come back up. And then inhale the right toes down and then up. Now, at any point, you can choose to make this a little bit more challenging by keeping the legs straight instead of bending the knee. But at this point, you have to be really careful that you don't lose that activation of pressing your low back down and belly button to spine. Right? But the lift of the pelvis helps keep that activation a little bit more than if we didn't have anything underneath our hips. So a few more here. I'm not really sure what to do with my hands. If you want, you can reach the opposite arm back behind your head as the leg that is reaching down or the toes that are tapping down. Right? So I want this to be as gentle or as vigorous of a core warm up as you need. Keep pressing your belly button to your spine, your low back down. Last couple here. All right. And then bend your knees. Take a little rock from side to side. Plant your feet, lift the hips up, and then remove whatever's underneath you out to the side. And then plant your feet about hip width apart, parallel-ish, maybe close enough into your bum. You can tickle your heels with your fingertips. Wrap your shoulder blades onto your back, and then press your feet into the floor. Inhale, lift the pelvis and the spine up and away into bridge pose. And then exhale, slowly lower back down. So let's do a few more of these together. Inhale to lift, and exhale to lower. Now, I don't really mind, or it doesn't make a difference to me anyway, how high you're lifting up into your bridge. Right? Maybe it's first thing in the morning and you're feeling a bit creaky. Maybe it's last thing at night and you need more of a restorative practice. Maybe it's the middle of the day and you want a little bit more fire. So wherever you need to go. Last few. Inhale to lift, exhale to lower. Last one here. All right. And then pause back at the bottom. Maybe you take your feet mat width apart. Take a little windshield wiper for the legs to release out. And then, as always, it might feel good to grab the back of your thighs. You can start to rock and roll up and down your spine. Sort of playing with that teeter point on the sit bones. If that doesn't feel good, then roll to one side. Use your hands, press yourself up, and we'll meet on hands and knees. So even here, you might choose to bring your pillow or your padding underneath your knees. And I'm going to do it because it feels different. It sends your weight forward a little bit more into your hands, but also keeps your knees quite comfy. So let's start to move through cat and cow. So inhale, lift the tailbone, hollow through your lower back, wrap the shoulder blades toward each other, and then exhale, round through your spine. Press the floor away from you. And then inhale into cow, exhale, round into cat. For me, even this little bit of lift of the knees, right, shifts the weight forward. It makes cat and cow not a totally different experience, but definitely it feels different here. Maybe there's some other natural movement that would feel really good. A little wag of the tail from side to side, or side body stretches, or barrel rolls through the chest. Go wherever you need to go. All right. And then come back to center. From here, cross your right hand in front of your left. Make sure it's not too close. The further forward your hand is, the more of a stretch you're going to get through the spine. So torso, tuck your toes, and then exhale, shift your hips back. Then you could stay up high here. You could come down to the left forearm. You might wag your tail a little bit from side to side. But the idea is that we're trying to find one long line on the right side of the body. One more breath here. All right, and then inhale, press yourself back up to center. Little wiggle or shake out. And then let's switch sides. So bring the left hand now in front of the right. Again, the further forward it is, the more of a stretch you will get. Tuck your toes, shift your hips back. You might stay up on your hands or come down to the right forearm. Try to keep that left elbow lifted though. Maybe take a little wag of the tail from side to side. Last breath here, or a couple breaths rather. All right, and then slowly come back to center. You could stay here on hands and knees, or I'm going to go into downward facing dog. Tuck the toes and lift your hips up. You could pedal your heels here, bending one knee and then the other. You could wag your tail from side to side. If you're on hands and knees, you might extend one leg back out behind you and then the other. And then if your pillow's really big like mine, you might need to remove it off to the side so you have a little bit more space to move. If you're in downward facing dog with me, hug your upper arm bones toward each other and send your weight more into the knuckles and finger pads and out of the heel of the hand if you can. All right, bend your knees, look forward, exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat. Now here's a great place to bring the floor up to you, particularly if it feels like the floor is really far away today, or maybe you want to leave it a little bit more support. Okay. You raise the floor up. If you want even more, you could rest your elbows on your knees or thighs. If you want more traction through your spine, clasp opposite elbows with hands. You can take a little sway from side to side. And go wherever you need to go. Just because my hands can reach the floor while I'm in standing forward fold doesn't mean it doesn't feel good to use this little bit of lift underneath my hands. It brings more ease to the body. All right, last breath here. And then bring your fingertips to your shins or your tins of tomatoes. And as you inhale, lift up partway, belly button to spine. Exhale, let it go. Couple more, just like that. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Last one. Try to keep the back of the neck long, so don't lift your chin. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees. Slowly start to roll up to standing, one vertebra at a time. Chin tucked the entire time. So we're really working gradual extension through the entire spine. A couple loops of your shoulders, up, back, and down. Oh, when you're up, and take a little wiggle, noodle, or shake out. So let's just move through the basic sun salutation while using our household goods as props. So feet about, hip width apart, tailbone to the floor, but without tucking under. Belly button to spine, shoulder blades on your back. On your inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. Maybe follow with your gaze. Exhale, dive or fold down to the earth. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees, and on your inhale, step your right leg back. Back knee can be up or down, and then inhale, come up to your lunge for just a couple breaths. Hands might be up. You might choose to keep them down. And then fold forward, plant your hands on your inhale, step back to your plank. So the top of a push-up, either from your toes or from your knees. And then exhale, come all the way down to the earth. You can always come down to your knees first. Untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the floor. Belly button to spine, shoulder blades on your back. Inhale, reach the heart forward and up. Baby cobra. Exhale, down. Tuck your toes, plant your hands. Exhale, lift all the way up and back. Downward facing dog. Hug the upper arm bones toward each other. Bend your knees. Look forward. Exhale. Walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat, standing forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Same thing, opposite side. Inhale up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your left foot back. You might release your knee to the floor or some padding or keep it high. And then inhale, come up to lunge just for a couple breaths. Right, wherever you want your lunge to be. And then fold forward. Plant your hands. Inhale, step back to plank. Exhale, lower all the way or partway to the earth. Inhale through your baby cobra or upward facing dog. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your right leg back. Keep the back knee high and bring your hands to props. Either your paper towels or blocks, whatever you're using. So a deep runner's lunge rather than coming up into high Anjaneyasana. Right, wrap the outer right hip forward, outer left hip back. Your spine stays long. So one long line from your heel to the crown of your head. And then fold forward, plant your hands, step back to plank. Exhale, lower all the way or part way to the earth. Inhale, baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. One breath here. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale, up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your left leg back, high runner's lunge. So wrap the outer left hip forward, outer right hip back. Really charge through that back leg. Hands on props for help, right? Otherwise, you're kind of rounding through the spine or lifting up too much. Keep driving the front heel into the earth. Squeeze the bum, squeeze the top of the thigh on the back leg. And then exhale, plant your hands. Inhale, step back, high plank. Exhale, lower all the way or partway to the earth. Inhale through baby cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. And then bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, little partway lift, fingertips to shins or props. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. And pause here for a couple breaths. Eyes could be open or closed. Hands could be at prayer or by your side. Just feel what you feel. Notice what you notice. And then flicker your eyelids open. Inhale, sweep your arms up to the sky again. Exhale, forward fold. Fingertips to shins or props. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your right leg back and then wrap your back heel to the floor for warrior two. So heel to heel alignment, and then bring a prop, either a tin or a paper towel roll inside your left foot. Press your left palm or fingertips into the prop as you inhale, start to open up into your side angle pose. Now I get it. Maybe this feels a bit deep, so you could use your natural propping of your elbow on your thigh. Top arm might reach up to the sky, or you might sweep your bicep to your ear. Keep spiraling the upper right ribs open to the sky though. And then slowly unwind. Plant your hands, step back, flow, or downward facing dog. I really like coming into a side angle pose from the bottom. I mean, it's a nice change. We often come in from warrior two. Bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. Charge your legs. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. Exhale, hands to prayer. Inhale to the sky. Last round, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your left leg back now for warrior 2 feet, heel to heel alignment. Bring a prop or something inside your right ankle or foot. And then inhale, open up into your side angle pose. This feels a little deep for me, so I'm going to go for my paper towel tubes. And then spiral the upper left ribs open to the sky. Top arm could beam up, or you might sweep your bicep to your ear. One more breath here. All right, slowly unwind. Plant your hands, step back, high plank. Exhale, lower all the way or partway to the earth. Inhale through your back bend. And exhale, downward facing dog. Last breath here. All right, bend your knees, look forward. Exhale, walk, step, or hop to the top edge of the mat. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, fold. All right, plant your hands, come down to hands and knees. Little wiggle or shake or cat and cow. And then shift your hips on one side. Plant your feet and then roll down to the mat. You could do a Pilates style roll down. You could grab your hands or use your hands behind your thighs, or you might just flop on back. And then let's make our way towards a twist, hugging knees toward your chest, little rock from side to side. And then take your right arm out to the side. You might shift your hips right a little bit to start with. And then exhale, lower your knees to the left. Now back to our squishy pillow. This is a really great place to bring something underneath your knees or between your thighs, particularly if you're doing a single knee twist instead. That little bit of extra support can feel so good while also achieving a deeper twist, if that's where you want to go. You might look along your right arm just to finish off the spiral in your neck. And the last breath here. All right, so on your inhale, return to center, reset your pelvis and your spine, and then take your left arm out to the side. You might shift your hips left a little bit to start with, and then exhale, lower your knees to the right. And again, you could take any variation of twist that you would like to. It doesn't ever have to be the same thing on one side that you did on the first. Knees can be stacked, single leg twist, or legs crossed. Maybe you use your pillow underneath your knee, particularly if it's hovering off the earth. And if your knee is floating or both of them are floating, then you're not getting as much ease, as much relaxation as you could in the posture, in the twist. So prop it like it's hot. One more breath here. Awesome. On your inhale, return back to center. Reset your pelvis and your spine. And then my recommendation for your pose of rest would be to bring your pillow behind your thighs. It just gives a little bit of a release for the low back. I like to call this pose yoga lazy boy. And it can feel so nice. If this doesn't work for you, then find whatever resting pose will. Flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You could rest on your side or in child's pose or a seated meditation. And there's no rush to get there. But once you have found your pose of rest, for 3 breaths, inhale through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. And then let go of your breath control. Return to your natural breath, slow and sweet. And let go of any last muscle gripping or tension, particularly in your face or your jaw. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. And stay here longer if you can, 5 or 10 minutes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.